Welcome back to another kind of funny weekly reaction to Disney's The Jungle Cruise. As always, I'm Tim Geddes, joined by It's Christmas in July for just one more day. Joey Noel.
It was like, how many days are there in July? I don't know how many days. Hello.
And of course, we have the big dog, Kevin Coelho.
What's up, guys?
Last night, the three of us ventured out on the adventure of a lifetime to the Regal Theater, and we saw Jungle Cruise in 4DX. Now, we're going to, of course, do a spoiler-free review, talk about if we think you guys should go watch this film, this exquisite cruise, and see if you should go on the adventure yourselves. But then we'll get into all of our spoiler thoughts. After that, we'll make it very, very clear. But either way, you can get the show on youtube.com/kindoffunny or roosterteeth.com. And if you want to get it as a podcast, you can go to your favorite podcast service and just search for Kind of Funny Reactions. We'll be right there for you. If you want to get the show ad-free, patreon.com/kindoffunny is where you want to be. And we appreciate you all very, very much. Joey Noel, spoiler free, I want to start with you. What did you think about The Jungle Cruise?
So I haven't been like a huge fan of any of Disney's recent live action stuff. And like, granted, most of them have been reboots. I haven't seen Cruella yet. But I had like a surprisingly fun amount of time with this. I mean, it definitely has and captures the like cheesiness of the Jungle Cruise. So like, if that's not your vibe, if you don't like the Jungle Cruise attraction at Disneyland, then like,
Shame on you.
yeah, exactly. Then I think you're gonna kind of roll your eyes at probably a lot of this. But as someone who's a big fan of the Jungle Cruise, I had a fun time. It has The Rock, who like most movies pretty good recently. There's some that not as great as others, but in a comedy role where it's like he's not trying to be like super super serious, I think he's pretty great. Emily Blunt I found like pretty charming, and like I was surprised by their chemistry because I normally don't think that The Rock has a ton of like romantic chemistry in his films whenever they try and like shove that in. But I had liked their banter back and forth. I thought they were very cute. I think the side character's really fun. The brother was like a surprisingly fun character. I like how much they pulled in from the attraction. I think people that are fans of it are going to be happy with like the references and stuff like that. Overall, I had a pretty fun time. I was surprised because I expected not really to like it.
Evan?
I am 100% with Joey on this one. I kind of walked in being like, look, I'm not expecting to... Like, I was kind of dreading it, honestly, because it was like, oh, like these... Like, Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one was the last, like, live-action movie. I guess only roller coaster. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I was not expecting anything great, and I, like, genuinely enjoyed it. I think to a very similar degree of Pirates of the Caribbean. So that was, like, I was really shocked and very, like, pleased. And also I have some words about this 4DX experience.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get
Only
to that
the
in a
most
second.
positive.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. I came in same place you guys did, where I was like not really excited about this. Jungle Cruise is one of my favorite Disneyland attractions, specifically because of the puns and because of the vibe of the ride. And I was really concerned, based on everything I saw from the trailers for this movie, that they weren't going to even attempt to kind of like pay homage to that. Maybe like the one line about the backside of water, but I thought that was going to be the extent, and otherwise it was going to be more action fare. And I was pleasantly surprised at how faithful they were, how many puns there were. I could have always used more, but that's just the type of person I am. But I thought they did a really, really good job of peppering them in throughout the movie, having multiple characters kind of have that same vibe. And they really made that world feel right, where I thought they made really smart choices of kind of making in world it kind of feel like he ran a ride himself, you know, and I at least in the beginning parts of the movie, they just set it up really well, where I'm like, cool, I get the characters, I understand how they interact with each other, and I'm here for the ride. Emily Blunt was fantastic. I haven't seen her in too many movies, and Quiet Place is really kind of my touchstone for her, and I loved her in that. But seeing her in this type of role, I'm just like, oh my god, put her in the MCU, please. Like, she is so fantastic.
In Fantastic Four?
I do, but honestly, I'll take her anywhere. Like, I just want to see her in these type of like fun action roles.
I had this
with
whole
quips.
setup of you saying the MCU, and I would be like, that's a fantastic idea.
Yep. I'll take it. Everyone give Kevin credit in the comments for that because it was good. But yeah, I really, really liked her. And I disagree with Joey in the sense that the chemistry between them I thought was completely off, and I thought was weird
really?
that they actually like pushed it, because I loved them just bickering. I loved them
Yeah, the
talking.
banter.
I loved all that. But the more like kind of relationshipy stuff, I was like, wow, didn't expect that turn from this movie, especially with the choices this movie made in terms of kind of its progressive isms and stuff. But it didn't really detract from my enjoyment of the movie, which I very much thought was a success. I really think that this movie doesn't quite hit the highs of Pirates 1, but I haven't had this much fun watching a CGI fucking mess action movie in a long time. And it's just kind of like, it knows what it is, and the CG is not good, but it doesn't matter. They have fun with it. And I'm just like, I'm here for the fun. And I love how, we'll get into it later with the spoiler stuff, but they make smart choices to kind of teach you to turn your brain off in the right ways to enjoy this movie. So Jungle Cruise, I'm surprised how much I like it. I don't ever want to watch it again, but I had a very, very good time watching it this time. And I would recommend not paying for it. I wouldn't say go necessarily to see it in a theater, and I don't think it's worth the $30 for the premiere access. But if it's on Disney Plus in a couple months, definitely check it out. It is worth the time. Do you guys think it's worth going to see in theaters?
Go for it, Kev.
Oh, I definitely think it's worth it. I thought, like, I would put it like on par with Pirates of the Caribbean, and I really think it's a fun experience.
I'm kind of with Tim where I don't put it on the same par as Pirates, but I think that's also because they're not trying to be the same type of movie. I think Pirates knows that it's like an action movie first more than the ride movie, and I think this one's the opposite, where it pays more homage to the ride rather than caring about being like an action movie. But I think if you're looking for something in this genre, like a fun, family-friendly, like Saturday afternoon or whatever, I think it's worth going to see. I don't think that it's, if you're just at home by yourself paying $30 for premiere access, I probably wouldn't do that.
Now, moving on before to spoilers, I want to talk about 4DX, which is how we watch this movie. And now I will say, before I even give my thoughts fully on 4DX, it is worth going to theaters to watch Jungle Cruise if you can watch it in 4DX. This movie was made for it. If you don't know, 4DX is a new type of theater auditorium experience that is at Regal Theaters, and they've been coming out the last couple years, but now they're in full swing after the pandemic has kind of like quelled a little bit and theaters are back in action. But 4DX is seats move every which way. There are wind tunnels that blow wind at you. They put scents into the theater. They blast water at your face from the seat in front of you, from the ceiling above you. And what am I missing here? There's some strobe lights. There's smoke machines.
Fog everywhere.
No, there's snow. It didn't come in this movie.
Yeah.
There's a snow machine.
It's insane. And you're like, oh, okay, I can imagine they're going to do this. It's going to be gimmicky. And it is definitely gimmicky, but it's gimmicky to the nth degree, where I did not expect it to be this intense. When it first started going, everyone's drinks are just flying everywhere. And I'm just like, they don't give a fuck. They are going hard, and I got to appreciate that. And I think that Jungle Cruise is entirely enhanced by that type of experience, because I left that thing dripping wet, and there was no other way that I would rather be. Kevin, what did you think?
You weren't dripping wet. Like it honestly made the movie, like, which I think is a very enjoyable movie. It made the movie a 10 out of 10 for me. It maximized the experience. Like, that's exactly, like, it was the perfect combination of movie. Like, because you're constantly on a boat that's bouncing around, and they just nailed it. Was it like a bit too much for Paula? Sure. There's an option to turn the water off. But, like, I wish I could have cranked my water up to 4, 10. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I said 4. That was random. But, yeah, everything about it. Like, there were the strobe lights. Like, there were, like, thunder, guns, the things that caused this. Yeah, they caused this. Yeah, pictures. Thank you. That caused the strobe light to go off. And it was, like, hues at a theater. And it's like, I hope that more investment goes into that. At the very least, Dolby adds hue at some point, hue sync. I thought that, like, there's a moment where a drop of water gets put onto something. Like someone gets an eye drop and drops a little bit of water. And man, that moment, the little squirter behind you goes, and I got a droplet on my cheek. It was one of the most immersive experiences I've ever had in my entire life. I was laughing hysterically the entire time.
Joey, what did you think?
hated it. I think I hated it as a first viewing experience because it's incredibly distracting. Like the smoke like stays in front of the screen for like a weird time, and like granted, Jungle Cruise isn't necessarily one that like I would care about that stuff like super highly. But just in general, I thought it was super distracting. There is something about the way that the seats move and stuff like that that causes the crowd just to be rowdy because there's so many like audible reactions to stuff like that. So like the crowd is just kind of louder in general, which is what I like about what I appreciate about Dolby is that it's like usually a very like subdued crowd or a crowd that understands when you should pop and when you shouldn't. And this was kind of more of a free for all. It was a lot. There used to be a ride like this at Great America called Days of Thunder that freaked me out as a kid. So maybe that was like a little bit that just comes back. But yeah,
funny.
there's beer everywhere, by the way. I was sitting next to James Burke and he's trying to balance 2 beers as like the seats are shifting. I'm like, this is a disaster.
That's funny. I had 2 cups of water, like 2 small cups. So they didn't even fit, like they fit all right into the cup holders. Like, you know, they're the ones you get at bars that are like when you ask for water. And they were maybe a 1/4 inch from the top, and shockingly they like only the one on the left spilled a little bit. It wasn't that bad. There was still water in them by the end.
I had beer all over me. It was ridiculous.
This podcast is brought to you by MeUndies. MeUndies believes that your comfort is about more than what's touching your skin. It's about being comfortable in your skin. And when you're truly comfortable, you get a slam dunk kind of feeling, you know? That's right, MeUndies and Space Jam are bringing you new undies. Ladies and gentlemen, you know I only wear MeUndies. A long time ago, I found out how comfortable they were, threw away the rest of my underwear, and only buy MeUndies. I still do to this day. And the Space Jam one is interesting for people like Blessing. MeUndies' new Space Jam print features Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and other iconic characters who are all tuned up and ready for a rematch. MeUndies are made from micromodal fabric, which is not only soft, but breathable, light, and impossibly cozy. Check out their new Space Jam collection in the softest undies, socks, bralettes, dog hoodies, and loungewear, available in sizes XS to 4XL. Here's your chance, do your dance, to score their new collection before the clock runs out. To get 15% off your first order, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/morning. That's MeUndies.com/morning. Up next is Canva. We've talked about Canva a lot, ladies and gentlemen. If you are making things on the internet and you need video, you need audio, you need Canva Pro. Tim's been using it. Roger's been using it. Nick has been using it. Anybody who's not just screaming into a microphone all day like me at Kind of Funny is using it to make our stuff better. Canva Pro is the easy-to-use design platform that has everything you need to design like a pro. Whether you're a professional designer or just getting started, Canva Pro can help boost you and your team's productivity and creativity. Canva Pro has everything you need in one place, including a collection of over 75 million premium photos, videos, audio, and graphics. Design like a pro with Canva Pro. Right now, you can get a free 45-day extended trial when you use our promo code. Just go to canva.me/kindafunny to get your free 45-day extended trial. That's canva.me/kindafunny. Canva.me/kindafunny. And our final sponsor of the day is Upstart. If you're carrying a credit balance month after month, it can feel like you're in a never-ending cycle of debt. Upstart can help you make that final payment so you can get ahead. Upstart is the fast and easy way to pay off your debt with a personal loan all online. Unlike other lenders, Upstart considers your income and current employment to find you a smarter rate for your loan. With a 5-minute online rate check, you can see your rate upfront for loans between $1,000 to $50,000. You can receive the funds as fast as 1 business day after accepting your loan. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/KFMB. That's upstart.com/KFMB. Don't forget to use our URL so that they know we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your application. Go to upstart.com/KFMB. MB.
But Joey,
it.
it's funny you bring up the Days of Thunder thing because me and Kev, I think, are on the opposite side of you where we fucking live for that shit. And then the Days of Thunder ride at Great America was like the greatest thing ever. And we grew up being like, I wish every movie would do, the James Bond one as well. It's like, I wish that they would do this for every movie. As I've grown up and become more of an adult and had a bunch of different experiences with different types of movie going things, I don't think I want every movie to be like this, but I do think Jungle Cruise was one that was the experience was enhanced by all of the extra stuff, specifically because it felt like an amusement park ride. So it's like that kind of that all worked. But I'm with you in the sense that like it can be distracting, but I think they do a good job of like whoever planned it, like it's uniquely designed for the movie.
That's what I'm so interested in.
Like that in another life, that's Tim Getty's job is to do that. And I thought that they did a really good job with it because for the majority of it, you're not moving and there isn't crazy effects happening. Like effects only happen when something kind of sparks them to do it.
It moves a lot though, because even when they're doing like sweeping shots and stuff like that, you're tilting and stuff like that.
I love that though, Joey. Like that, like every time the seat would go, I'd be so invested in the shot, so much more. Yeah, I guess that had the total opposite effect on me than it did at you.
Yeah.
But it is distracting in the sense that like the smoke and stuff didn't bother me because I thought it was designed well enough that whenever there was still smoke in front of the screen in the movie, there was smoke in the scene still. So it was just kind of like it dissipated quick enough that it didn't really bother me. But what did distract me was two things. Seeing the audience in front of you moving as well kind of could be distracting, and more than that, the crowd, like Joey was talking about, like there's this nervous laughter that everybody has. So it's not like people being rowdy because fun things are happening and people like hooting and hollering like, ooh, it was more like everyone's kind of like, oh, this is weird because like I'm getting punched in the back. You know what I mean? And like it can kind of, it's definitely a choice to see a movie in 40X. And I'm going to have to look at movies on a case-by-case basis and decide, is this a 40X movie or is this a Dolby Atmos movie?
Yeah. The like rev up for like the wind things on the side was also like weirdly loud.
Yeah, that is true.
But other than that, I think the other effects were like the production of the effects weren't particularly distracting. But other than like, all of a sudden you hear this random thing. I was like, well, I guess we're getting wind soon.
I think that the biggest problem was the smoke machines. Mostly that they didn't like. I wanted it. It was just the front that got filled, and it's like, go fuck yourself. Like I'm like, get it up here, get it here. I want to be in this smoke. So I think next time. Also, the way the theater chairs were, they kind of like the top leaned back more than like there wasn't like a little padding for your head. So I would not be opposed to actually be in the third or fourth row, laying back, just covered in smoke everywhere. Yeah.
Gosh.
Honestly, I'm so in. Like when they do a preview, and they did snow for that, and I guess this movie didn't fucking have any snow, which is a bummer. But like we didn't get any of that.
Doesn't have snow.
Joey, there's mountains. You know what I mean? Like I don't need it to be like it also has like it doesn't matter. I don't. It's not scientifically accurate, is what I'm saying.
So okay, enough about the 40X. Now it is time to get into full spoiler territory for the Jungle Cruise. Who wants to start off there?
I want to start with, I can't believe we've gone this far in the recording and we haven't talked about Jesse Plemons yet.
Is that the brother?
No,
he's the villain. I love him.
Yes.
He's incredible. If you are unaware, Jesse Plemons, Friday Night Lights, Breaking Bad, Black Mirror. I don't know. He's been like a billion things. Game Night. You put Jesse Plemons in your movie as you, particularly in a villain character. I'm there. Like he understands the assignment, especially for this one. I feel like where he's like this wacky, like royal aristocracy, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, German.
Like person, and just nails it. Like he's so good. He's so good.
I want to say this movie's use of Metallica was something I did not expect, but very, very much appreciated. Is not one, but two moments in this movie that use Metallica as Nothing Else Matters. First, in orchestral form, and then again towards the end, it's orchestral, and then it just turns into all-out metal in a fight scene that is so ridiculous, where it's just like, how the fuck did we get here? But I'm happy we did. The build that this movie has in terms of just throwing insane shit at you, like, I did not expect from a Jungle Cruise movie. I've been on Jungle Cruise countless times, and I know all the things. I watched the documentary on Disney Plus a couple of nights ago. I know all the fucking history, everything about this damn thing. I did not expect Snake Man and Bee Dude and like the freaking frog guy. Was that the last one? Kind of weak, but you know, whatever.
There was
Tree?
he was Vines. Vine Man, they called him.
Yeah. But I loved them. They looked like garbage, but it's like it was fun.
Yeah.
Like I loved having these type of elements was something I did not expect. And The Rock, when he like died, it was like, excuse me, what are we doing here? And then it's revealed, he's immortal and he's brothers with these guys. And I was like, what the fuck is this movie? I
was not expecting that.
Yeah, that revealed that reminded me so much of Pirates. When you first get I feel like we're so far away from Pirates where it's like, oh yeah. Point. You know, Jack was a skeleton the whole time. But that first time where you see him in the moonlight, you're like, oh, shit, he was part of the curse. And with this, it was very much like, oh, shit, I guess he died. Like, he got stabbed in the heart.
Was dead.
Fell and hit a bunch of trees on his way down. He's fucked. And then they, introduce it and, wait, how is this even possible? And then you see the blade and you're like, oh, he's one of the conquistadors.
Yeah, I thought it was a wise call to do that because it reset, and that's what I was talking about earlier, where it's kind of like it taught you how to turn your brain off the right way to enjoy the movie. Because from that moment on,
Paula came over and corrected me. He wasn't part of the curse the whole time. He had just stolen a piece at the end. So my apologies. He wasn't cursed the whole time. So this is a better twist.
But I thought it worked out because it allowed for some really fun action scenes and just it made the plot more interesting instead of just when you really boil down the plot of this movie, it is insanely simple and it's funny. And I love the commitment to they literally just went on a jungle cruise. They get in this boat. They're trying to get to the end to get one single thing, and they're just going. And I love the way that they played with the stuff from the ride, like including the people like shooting all the darts and stuff. And
with the 4D experience, amazing. It would blow air at the back of your head. Amazing.
But I really, really appreciated the use of them with the twist and with kind of The Rock's character being friends with them. And like that, what I was talking about earlier about like, even in the movie, it kind of felt like he had a ride that he was like, making money off of. And I love the Trader Sam references. Like if you're a Disneyland fan, like there was a lot of cool shit there.
But updated. Like I feel like they did a pretty good job of like modernizing things because I know they had been doing that with the attraction at Disneyland and like it's not a total rehaul like I feel like they did with that, but it does feel more modern and like less gimmicky for a ride that's like essentially all gimmicks.
Yeah. I definitely recommend you guys watch the documentary series on Disney Plus called Behind the Attraction that just dropped a week ago. There's like 5 episodes, they're like 40 minutes each, and they're all about different rides at Disneyland. And the first episode is Jungle Cruise, and it goes through the entire history of the ride from day one opening of Disneyland till now. And it's cool because like there wasn't too much shit that I was like, oh fuck, the movie did this and this. But one thing that I thought was really interesting is like they make a big deal about this tree, this one specific tree in Jungle Cruise, and it's very different than the tree we see in the movie, but I do think that like that was an homage to it. I'm like, I love that there's levels of thought being put into this to like for the hardcore Disney park enthusiast people. So I think this movie succeeded at everything it was trying to accomplish, and I can't believe I'm saying that about a Jungle Cruise movie starring The Rock because that shouldn't work.
Yeah. I'm like pleasantly surprised. And like, granted, like we were talking at dinner before we saw the movie. Like, I don't even know if I ever, like, I'm sure at some point I watched a trailer, but I didn't remember anything. So I feel like that probably kind of helped too.
Mm-hmm.
But
and again, Emily Blunt's incredible.
She's so good. She
stole the show for me for sure. And I love her confidence. I love the way she moves. I love just like her character was great, but like her acting was like what really enhanced it and made it something special in this silly ass world that they did a good job building, man. Like shout out to you, Disney. You did something that I thought was impossible, which is make a decent Jungle Cruise movie. So, any closing thoughts from you guys?
I'm legitimately excited to watch this movie again in my house with the hue lights going. Maybe I'm gonna shake the sofa a little bit. Like I just think like I thought this movie was a lot of fun, and I hope that we get 5 sequels until I hate it. You know what I mean? Like, I hope we get there.
Great.
I don't know if I would watch it again with other people. I don't know that I would watch it again by myself. Like, oh, I'm in a Jungle Cruise mood, but like, I don't know, maybe in a year or so I'll be like, that Emily Blunt, she's good. I want to watch more of her before she gets introduced into the MCU.
Exactly. Well, let us know in the comments below what you think about Jungle Cruise, where you watched it, and if you've ever experienced 4DX. What's the next, Kev? What are we gonna watch in 4DX next?
If it was an option, I wouldn't be opposed to going to watch Snake Eyes.
I'll do some digging. I'll do some digging.
Like, I'm not against it. Like,
dude, that's a perfect example though, Kev. Is like, I have no interest in Snake Eyes, but Snake Eyes with 4DX, I'm like, I don't know, maybe. But anyways, let us know in the comments below what you think about 4DX, what you think about Snake Eyes if you saw that. And until next time, I love you all. Goodbye.